Hello. Look at this. A Friday night edition with me in my pajamas. Oh, I don't have a drink. I might have to let Birdman come on and then I have to run and get a drink. I am Adam Rosenberg. This is the Outlier show, a Friday night edition of this show. Birdman should be jumping on any minute now. And we're going to go through some lines. We'll talk about some games. We'll mess around. Kind of just bros being dudes. But women can do this too. It's anything like that. So it could be bros or women being bros and women doing whatever. We're just having fun tonight. So we're going to talk about some NFL. Might talk a little bit NBA, but probably just some NFL. Definitely going to talk a little bit of hockey and maybe a little bit of MLB. So hang on 1 second, everybody. The professionalism that is me going to get a drink, that's going to happen in 2 seconds. And just hold on. Cool. I'm back. All right, cool. I've got my drink. I'm going to jump right in to a couple things. Let's do it. Picture layout. Oh, look at that. I am going inside to this. We will look at what we got here. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes in hot. Hold on. I'm going to change my layout because here he comes. Birdman.
How we doing?
What's going on, man?
Not much, man.
Is that your Oregon Ducks hat?
Yeah, I got him on right now watching. Although when I turned the channel on, it was like TMZ for 10 minutes. I thought the game was already on, and they're just going nuts about Jeremy Piven like breaking his ribs trying to do a movie.
Wait, what happened? I didn't even know Jeremy Piven still did movies. I only remember him in Entourage.
It was apparently like his sister's movie or something, and he was doing all of his own stunts, and they were talking about how he broke like 6 ribs trying to do them.
That's crazy.
And same thing though. I haven't seen him in anything since Entourage either.
So he's so my son watches Cars now,
Nice.
and I didn't even realize it. My wife picked it up, but the voice of the agent for Lightning McQueen is Jeremy Piven. And it came out right when Entourage was really big. So anyway, I was just telling everybody that we're going to go through some NFL. For those that don't follow Birdman, he's one of my better friends. He's pretty sharp, especially on NFL stuff. And the last couple of weeks, actually, we've been collabing on some TD stuff, but we're going to go through just like a couple games that kind of stand out, things that we really like, things that we're locking in. There's some plays that we like that we saw tomorrow, and then we will build our, if you have DraftKings, there is a TD parlay that we will build. We have been one off for 2 straight weeks.
So close.
So close. And it's been with like guys that really like one was Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson was in one of ours and he like was out at the 1 or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Get it. So all right, jumping right in. Let me just ask, because we're really fluid on Fridays. Is there a game that you've been eyeing you want to look at? You can go first.
You mean as far as betting sides go?
Well, I mean, if we can go props, I think everybody really. I mean, we can talk about sides, but props. But I think props is a lot more fun because we can kind of navigate it together.
I think off the rip, I think my favorite game for props is the Seahawks Falcons game.
All right, cool. Let's go through it, man. What do you like in here? Total super high, so you gotta love it, and it's a short spread.
It is. So I ended up just taking Metcalf 70 plus. Plus 102 on FanDuel, and I put a little sprinkle on 100 plus at 3-1 on DraftKings right before I jumped on here. But I do like Geno props as well. He's crushed in domes.
I was about to say he looks like he's probably been really good in the dome. I was about to look at this.
Yeah, he's been crushing. I know Cleve TA or Cleve TA on Twitter. He had a nice chart. that had like his EPA per play in all the dome games, and it's just all positive stuff.
Dude, his last 5. Look at his last 5 games, just in overall, man.
Yeah, he's leading
Every
the
game
league
this season, except for the Denver game.
He's leading the league in like every passing statistic. But I ended up going with Metcalf, mainly because obviously Geno doesn't get there unless Metcalf, is part of it, in my opinion, especially at like 265 or whatever his number's at.
Yeah.
Metcalf's hit in 10 out of 15 in away games, averaging like 81. 70 plus in all.
What did you?
One
Hey,
of
what
those
did you?
games.
What did you put it at? What did you do? You did the base, or what did you did like 60?
So his base is like in the 68 and a half, 67 and a half, like right in that range. And 70 plus was plus 102.
Yeah. We like to say this, you and I like to say this, but the his over floor is absolutely 70.
Yeah, it's just in a scenario where like 68 and a half is minus 115, I am 99.7% of the time, especially when we're talking about the lines that are not sub 25 yards, like the guys who are, the margins are much more slim when you go from like 8.5 to 10.5 for a guy who gets one catch. But these guys that are like, featured dudes, I'm never paying minus 115 for 68 and a half if I can pay plus 102 for a yard and a half more. So
right,
that's just standard. And then I put a little bit on the 100 plus. He
had 3 of them this year.
Yeah, and if you look at some of the wide receiver ones that played the Falcons, they're 26th. They're 26th in DVOA versus wide receiver ones. They've allowed 85 to Pickens, 76 to Devonta when AJ Brown was out, 110 to Rice. In the same game, they allowed 87 to Olave and 83 to Shaheed. Neither Evans nor Godwin got there, but they both had 60 yards. And Deontay had 78. And with the Seahawks, and I know we're talking props, but in general, I like the Seahawks in this game, regardless, especially getting 3. A lot of people don't really look at it, but when teams play the Lions, there's an automatic hangover because of how bully ballish they play.
Yeah, there's SGPN was talking about the knee biting cap.
Yeah, and it's for real. And every team that plays Detroit, they kind of get smoked the next game. And what the Seattle had to do is that they had to go on a short week, play San Fran as well. After that, which was like, or that was when they played the Giants. Sorry, they played the Giants after the Lions, and they were like, "Oh, everyone, why do they look like shit?" Well, it's because after teams play the Lions, it's tough to get back up the next game. And then they had to go short week against a tough San Fran team. So Metcalf has been short of this line back-to-back games. And if you look over his career, he doesn't usually have super long stretches. I mean, even if you look at that chart you have on Outlier on the screen, it's like after 2 games, there's a spike. After 2 games, there's I guess in the middle there, it's not great. But this
was also at 100. So like let's put it at 7. It's a lot different at 70.
With the game environment, the turf, and the other thing is Atlanta's 32nd in sack percentage. They're not going to get to Geno, even though their line isn't great. So he should have all day to throw. So I just think this is a game where Metcalf gets back into it. He only had 48 against San Fran, but we watched the game. He had a bunch of opportunities. He had the one, there was a penalty. He had the underthrow in the middle of the field that was picked. That was just a bad throw which
was just a bad throw.
So I just think, after 2 bad games, we're getting a little bit of a discount for him to get 70. I just think that's where he's going to be in that 70 to, maybe even, a lot of these games, he's clearing 100, getting up to the 130 range. But
it's a pretty high ceiling. And if you go through so dome game against the Lions last September, 75. Then the big game in Seattle. Let's go to another dome game, LA 94. Dallas 134. That's another dome game. And then this Atlanta game, I'm pretty sure it was the last game of the season. I'm pretty sure that everything was just over then.
Yeah, I don't know if he was playing.
I don't even know if he was really playing.
Who was playing?
Let's see. The Lions again this year, 104. Yeah, dude. This is this is a hit for me. I'm a big fan of this play. I like this. I was also just looking at just who kind of roasts the Falcons. Jalen Coker had 30 yards last week, dude. Like I didn't even know he was playing this year because he was so buried on the dude. David Moore's corpse had 17 yards. Like this is Deontay Johnson on one leg had 78. Xavier Legette had 23. They let multiple guys on the Saints get over 80 yards. Yeah, Metcalf is a Metcalf play.
I like it. Yeah, I like him to score for our parlay too.
Okay.
They've just let receivers score on them. I know that there's been Kenneth Walker has been getting a bunch of them, and I just think that this is the game. Like, he's going to get 75 and a touchdown, or maybe 100 and a touchdown. I just think this is that type of game for him. Because I think Geno will have time all day, and the more opportunities he has in passing plays where he has time for plays to develop, especially if the Falcons offense is clicking again and they have to play from a deficit. I just think that those big plays, you could also look at Metcalf longest reception. I imagine that's a good one too. And when they pop eventually, we'll have to look at a little bit of that first quarter stuff, because we've always seen that when he does play well, it's right out of the gate.
He gets started early.
So, I don't know the odds, but I'd love to look at like first quarter or first half touchdown, like as a straight bet, not for our parlay. But that could be a nice little boost to odds there. I think Metcalf gets back to that.
I'm just looking at the ADOT for them because I love my nerd stats. So Atlanta is ADOT. Atlanta's actually, so interesting enough, Atlanta has the lowest passing ADOT in the league, which makes me less into the Geno plays, but more into this Metcalf play.
Look at who they played though, because they played the Chiefs who have like negative ADOT. I feel like every game.
That's like how they run. But
the Saints don't. The Steelers don't pass the ball.
The yards per attempt is lower. The yards per attempt is low, but for Atlanta. But but the touchdowns. But they've also given up the
reason why. Oh yeah, I do.
Passing touchdowns.
I do see what you're saying. I guess the only reason why that's it's less of a concern for in general is just because of some of these teams that they play. The Steelers, Eagles without AJ Brown are less less likely to throw down. The Chiefs don't have a high ADOT. The Saints do. The Buccaneers, even with some of their guys, I guess they're a team that they might have held in check a little bit. That was also a Thursday nighter, and they played the Panthers, who Deontay gets yak, but Dalton isn't throwing down the field. So I just feel like they haven't played a type of offense that is going to throw the ball down the field that much either. And and all that Geno Dome stuff is just huge. So, but regardless, I went to the Metcalf because I don't think Geno goes over his passing yards without Metcalf.
Yeah,
I don't think you can
it's lower.
I don't think you can get 275 and have Lockett and JSN both at 100. I just don't see that happening, even though they could have good games as well. But yeah, Metcalf's getting 100 on Sunday.
No, I like that more than I like Geno. I'm just looking through it, and I'm just looking because there's like the catchable air yard rate is really high. When you go and you look, I like that one. I like it a fair amount. Okay.
Yeah, DK Metcalf is actually third in the league in air yards.
There you go. Yeah, I like it. It's us. I think the strongest thing that I like in this that's kind of taken me over. I like this more than the Metcalf one is if you're off a blowout, you're going to go to your alpha a lot. And just like you said, do I want to sit through Geno? Do I want to sweat through Geno having to pass to everybody for 270? Or do I want to just let him get to DK for 100? And because you're right,
I honestly think both hit just because I do think the Falcons offense is going to keep pace in this game. I definitely think
I'm going to play that with you. Okay, so game that I had liked that I was looking at. I got an ugly one that I like, which is Will Levis under his passing yards. I gave that out earlier, and I love it, and I want to make sure that I have people. Hey, look at this, Mark Drum coming in hot and saying Seattle defense stinks, which is right. He says Atlanta will score 30, and we hope so because that will absolutely push pace in this. So
I think so too. But they're also getting some guys back. So I and again with the Lion playing the Lions, obviously it's tough to play them. No excuse against the Giants except for that Lions hangover, and then they play short week Niners team and some of their guys just getting back. I do think that it's going to take some weeks for the Seahawks defense to get going. I don't think they're an awful unit though, and I'm going to stay on that until it's like week 10 because I think because all McDonald wants to do is have all those D linemen, cause havoc, and then he can do whatever the hell he wants in coverages and simulated pressures, all that shit. But without all these D linemen, you can't stop the run, so you can't do any of that stuff. And it's totally different. I mean, look,
I think you know how I feel. I think Seattle stinks, but that being said, they try to throw their way out of everything, and Atlanta plays weirdly with pace. So I'm looking. So anyway, I like Levis under his passing yards. There's a lot of reasons why I like this. One, dude may not be starting the second half of the game. For starters, when you look at, it's also a fully loaded. You have a low total of 40 and a high spread at a fully loaded Bills team. The team total for the Titans is 15 and a half, which is incredibly low. So this team is expected also to get blown out. But the times that Will Levis has gone over this was this Jets game where he got all of his passing yards in the first half. And then this Green Bay game where he got all of his passing yards in the third quarter where they apparently were not ready for Malik Willis. And he basically ran all over them. I think he's about to lose his job. I think that his catchable throws are terrible. His ADOT's low. His turnover-worthy throws is next to Deshaun Watson. I don't care how low you can go on this. I mean, I could see it being under 160. It's fine. But Levis is under 180 right now. I'm perfectly fine with that. That is a play that I dig.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I think even if he plays the whole game, if he
plays the whole game, it's fine. It's just like,
which I know you're not like banking on them benching him, but I think that even
it's an added hey, this is another reason why I don't hate this.
I personally hope that they let him play the whole season, just throwing 10 picks a game. I have the interception leader. But I thought this team's going to stink and they're just going to see what they have, let them play the whole season. Because, I don't know, maybe it's just me. If you're a tanking organization, which I guess is the NFL, nobody actually wants to lose unless you're the Panthers. But it's you've already seen what Mason Rudolph's going to do. I guess they think it gives you a better chance to win. But, at this point, the way that their season's going with their roster – you should be at least not trying to actively win games.
Well, their defense is. I think their defense is very good. Has been very good. I mean, look, the biggest thing for me, looking at it, even people talk about the Bills defense, they held every quarterback under this number except for Stroud in the dome, and Aaron Rodgers picking them apart on Monday Night Football in a game that they just that also is featured. Ray Davis having a 55-yard catch out of nowhere that was underthrown, but still he somehow managed to catch that, and he's 5'6". I'm not really worried about Will Levis doing anything. But I also popped up. He popped up as questionable today, which does have part of the back of my mind is to me that is that's a leak of an injury in case he gets benched at halftime.
Right. So, but even if he is minorly injured, all he's got to do is take some heat, get sacked in the first quarter, bang it up, and they're like, we'll just go to Mason Rudolph.
We'll go to
Bills
Mason Rudolph.
At home have only allowed they've only allowed 146 and a half passing yards a game.
Yeah, they've been great. They've been great.
Okay.
I like it. Let's you and I think there's things that you and I both like in this Miami game. What are you digging in? Yeah, is there something
Yeah.
you did? I can talk about the one we both dig, but what are things that you like?
Yeah, you can talk about it.
So I think I like the fact that Devon A. Chain is his number is so low to me for rushing. Let's see. We both like him for 50 yards rushing. I believe he's at 46 and we took the 50. Look,
It
he's
was
been hurt the
44
last.
when we
Yeah, it's 44 when we took it.
moved
It's
up.
46 and a half now. I took the 50. Took the 50. It's actually, I
Yeah,
think it's got ladder potential. The Colts, especially when the fact that Richardson's playing, because their pace is going to be a lot slower than if Flacco's playing. But yeah, you and I took it 2 days ago at 44. It's 46. I think it's perfectly fine. But look, we know he's got that ceiling. He's been hurt. They're off a bye week. So I think he had that concussion, but he's like fully healthy and he's ready to go. He could also probably get this in like 3 carries against this Colts team. Let me kind of go through additional BS notes that I have for whatever. Let me just see. Well, look, the thing is, like, you and I went through this. I think this is like a really good unleash game for him. I think the other thing is that I think you're going to see a little bit more of a regular Miami offense because they had that bye week. There's actually 2 plays I like in this game. I like Tyler Huntley's under rushing for the reasons why I like Akane's over rushing, because Tyler Huntley has a rushing number of 30. They've basically have set him up as if he's Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry. I like Tyler Huntley, but he's a backup quarterback who has gone over this number 3 times in the last 2 years. 2 of those times were BS Week 18 games he was in as a backup, and the other one was when they signed him off the street in that Tennessee game, and he didn't know the playbook. They're paying $1 billion to Tyreek Hill, and they also got Jalen Waddle in there. They're both of which they have not been really used over the last couple of weeks. Off of a bye week, I feel like they're going to be a lot more prepared for some passing attack on them and a lot more balance. Akane being healthy makes me love this. This is an incredibly low rushing number for a dude who we know clears this very easily when he's healthy against a very bad rushing defense, next to last rushing defense in the league. So, yeah,
that's
what I like.
Absolutely, and I like the Huntley one as well that you said, because I mean the Colts are 27th in sack percentage. They've had a bunch of injuries on the D line. They might get a couple guys back, but I just think I don't think Huntley's going to be forced to run. Now, if there are people out there that go, no, he's still going to run, that's just in his DNA. Then, not like I said last week, or when they played the Titans, take the alt then. He's probably not going to get like 20. Like he's probably going to get like 40, right? So I would just take the alt.
I mean, if he does, he gets. 30. Dude, 30 is a very high number for a backup quarterback. This is literally just for reference. Josh Allen is usually listed at 32. I get it, but like this is a very high number for a guy that's now had time to prepare. It's incredibly high.
Yeah,
these 2 times. This was a Week 18 game. And this was, hey, I don't know what the playbook is. You signed me 2 days ago. I haven't practiced this week.
Right, and now they come off the bye. He's gonna know the offense a bit more. And I mean, look, Pollard last week had 88. Spears had 27. Right. Bigsby 129. Najee Harris 73. Josh Jacobs 151. A change is too good. And on top of it, this is why I also love Miami in this game is, maybe the offense hasn't looked great with Huntley and all the injuries and stuff. Great, but you got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Devin Achane in a dome. And those skill position players are just going to be unleashed on a bad defense. It's partly why I do like some Waddle stuff. He is one of the guys who hasn't scored.
Okay.
So that is.
I think McDaniel is preps some pass play. Like he doesn't have these guys to not pass to him, and like they've had 2 weeks now to do this and get him used to it.
McDaniels has a lot of heat on him too, because everyone's saying like, is he going to get fired? He can't get. I know they doesn't have Tua and stuff, but the people that are reporting on this are acting like he still is on the hot seat. because they haven't really done anything even without Tua, which I guess you can only have that as an excuse for so long. But yeah, I think this is just the perfect game for Miami's offense to get some work in, and I think that they're going to be a lot more explosive than when we saw them against the Titans, who, like you just said earlier, have a good defense. So yeah, I like a chain. Waddle. I mean, you could probably talk me into Tyreek Hill as well.
Should we ladder a chain? I mean, we have the
my only thing that gave me some pause is Mostert. I think was supposed to be coming back,
right? And they always mess around with that kind of stuff.
So it might be one of those times where I'm like, all right, 50 plus at plus 125 or 120, whatever we got it at. I think he can get that.
Yeah, wow, we got it at plus 125. It's now minus 110
everywhere.
Plus 110. No, sorry, it's plus 110. My bad.
All right. Yeah, if it's plus money, I think it's still worth the take. But yeah, if Mostert comes back, he'll get some carries, but it'll be Mostert's first game off of an injury, so they're not giving him the full workload, even off a bye. I know Chain's coming off the concussion, but he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's been fine. It's been 2 weeks, and he's been fine. I mean, they have there's multiple guys who've done this. I think that's a good play. I mean, and it's on the inverse side. The reason why I like the Huntley under is that is that it's basically I think that they're gonna go classic what they need to do. All right. Let's look at. I want to look at.
The last thing I'll.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The last thing I'll say on that is, I feel like if there's a way you wanted to get in on a chain, and you didn't want to play the rushing, a line here that looks pretty nice is DraftKings has 75 plus rush plus receiving at even money. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I'm worried about Mostert, could go receiving yards for a chain. I mean, he's always involved, but if you want to get a piece of both, his 75 plus combo, rush plus receiving is even money, DraftKings, I feel like that's a solid look as well. I mean, I might even put a little half unit on that or something just to supplement the position on a chain as opposed to doing the rushing ladder. But yeah. So I was waiting to see. I guess.
So everybody's give me. We'll both do one more prop, and then let's build it. Let's build a touchdown parlay.
Okay. So I was looking at a couple other ones here. There's no lines for Deontay Johnson. At least
he was limited up until today.
Yeah. So I do like him when lines pop. I didn't lock in another prop outside of the Metcalf and the chain ones. I was looking at some Bowers though. Okay. The problem is his lines are kind of jumped up. Jacoby Myers got ruled out.
Yeah, 60 as a floor is a little.
It's going to be one of those situations. And again, I didn't get a chance to mess with this before, but you might be able to get even money for 5 for 50. Or 5 for 50, one of those
5 and 50. Okay, I see. Yeah.
An SGP where you don't have to play the 60, and if you think he's going to get 50, the thing is he's just really good, and he might just be able to, because the Rams have been abysmal against tight ends. The other one I was looking at, which you can just say, all right, you know what? He might not get a shit ton of looks. His over 20.5 is pretty appealing. Hit it in 4 of 6 overall. All 3 away games. Kraft, Komet, and McBride all cleared that number. And, I know Aiden O'Connell's in there. I don't really know as much. We don't have much to go off of him in this offense with these specific players because you got no Devontae, no Myers. So I'm going to find some way to bet Bowers, whether it's longest, some combo, or I might just try to take his receptions. There's a chance that he just gets peppered with targets. And
dude, he had 9 and 8, and it's only at 5.5.
He had double-digit targets in back-to-back games, and now there's no Jacoby Myers.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
It might be worth it, over 5.5. What's his line? Is it 5.5?
5.5 minus 120. You could do 6.5 is plus one for him to have 7 is plus 140. It's a lot to do that. I don't mind paying the minus 120 for 6.
Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a concrete one that I played, but I do like Bowers on some way, shape, or form because they're just awful against tight ends. Um, they allowed 88 to Kraft, 67 to McBride, who hasn't really been doing too well this year. The 32nd in
He was
DVOA
hurt.
versus tight ends. Yeah, I know McBride's hurt, but that's what I'm saying. Even with him being banged up and not playing well, he still managed to get 67 against the Rams. So yeah, I do like him. Let's see who else here. Got a couple guys that I I was kind of looking at Jamar Chase, longest
Okay.
reception,
Okay.
over 25 and a half because of the Browns secondary injuries that they still have going on. So I'm pretty sure those guys are out again that were out last week.
Okay.
And we saw so this is Jamar Chase has hit this in 5 of 6, as you can see on your screen. AJ Brown 40-yard catch, Devonta 45, De'Ami Brown 41, Terry McLaurin 66, Neighbors 28, still went over this number. Brian Thomas 66, Lamb 34. They also had 3 other guys, Cooks, Gabe Davis, and Wandell, all have 20-plus yard catches that didn't clear 26. But
Cleveland with the third worst receiving ADOT in the league defense-wise.
yeah, so and I know and the thing is like if you look at Jamar Chase versus the Browns, he's actually never cleared this. But and I mean, depending on the
Cleveland
number.
leads. Sorry to interrupt you. Cleveland also second most 20-plus yard completions given up.
So I think this is one of those games where Jamar Chase, even if like the game state isn't what you want, right? It's like maybe it's an ugly game and the Browns defense like shows up.
Mm-hmm.
I still think even if he's not having 85 yards in a huge game, he's still probably getting a 26-yard catch.
No, he's getting it. We can actually look that up. Like, does he get him? Does he get it? Even if let's say they lose. Let's say that they lose.
Well, just look at 2020. Well, all right, you can do that.
Yeah.
If you look at 2024, he's hit it in 5 of 6. But how many yards has he had in 5 of 6?
I mean, it's also I want to do it games with Joe Burrow.
True. Browning was airing it out.
I know, but that didn't translate. Yeah, dude, he's hit it even in the games that they've lost. He's hit it in 4 of his last 5, and it's not even and there's room to spare.
Yeah.
I think this is overall. I think this is if he's lost a game. So yeah, I think this is great. I like this a lot. I'm also in this game. I got my last prop that I liked. Was Jerry Jeudy over it moved a little bit, but I like the 50 yards receiving. Second on the team in targets. First of all, guys, this is a guy who, when he was in Denver, everybody said had a 100-yard ceiling, and whether or not that's true, and whatever you think about Deshaun Watson, there are still now. Let's look at the targets. Amari Cooper being gone. There are 17 targets to distribute now amongst him, Elijah Moore. Jerome Ford is out. I think Njoku got hurt again, but he's not going to get 6 of those more targets. Jeudy had 35 last week on targets last week. He only had 3 targets. So he's 15 yards under this number with only 3 targets last week on 1 catch. We need minimal addition to come back here for him to go over this. It's a very, very low number. I get it. It's a team that's struggling offensively, but somebody's got to catch the ball.
No Cooper,
yeah, look. And then like the other stuff that I have on, like there are 6 wide receivers that have gone over this number versus the Bengals in the last 4 weeks. And again, Cooper being the target leader, Jeudy being second, that's 17 targets to be able to spread out through other people, even despite whatever the offense is. Hey, maybe you get Jameis at halftime. I don't think that's going to happen, but still, I like this. For me, it's a little bit of an alt, but it was an alt when I bet it. Now it's the base.
I think the fact that Nick Chubb's coming back, now granted,
establish some play action.
I just think that the moment you put him on the field, right? It's just like with the play action and just in general, just the threat of him, especially because I don't know the exact stats, but the Burrow-led Bengals have struggled against the Browns traditionally.
Oh yeah, 6 straight, I believe.
And it's just the fact that you put him on the field. I just think naturally he's just going to be open more. It's just like when you put Derrick Henry back there. Granted, I know Chubb's coming off this injury and he's probably not going to play a full workload, but still, just the threat of him running just opens some stuff up. And the Bengals defense is atrocious. So I actually do like Njoku a little bit, but that's just because the Bengals defense is so
I like him
atrocious.
too.
I like both of those guys, but it's also hard to be betting a bunch of people with Deshaun at the quarterback. And I maybe they get Jameis in there. I think that's a possibility. I know that they keep saying like, no, we're gonna do this, let Watson. But I mean, without Amari Cooper, you might see some more heavier set personnel. They might go back to that Stefanski type of offense stuff where has the big guys on there running the ball. He's going to open up plays, and the Bengals got nobody that is I'd be scared of, really. So, yeah, I like it. I can't complain.
All right, so let's kind of build some touchdown stuff, man. All right, I'm gonna mess around and just looking into seeing who has and who hasn't. First of all, let me
I have the list of who has it.
You have a list.
Of course.
Okay, first of all, we can kind of go through games and just kind of see if there's people that we like and we can whittle it down. Okay. Yeah. Do we want anybody in this Patriots Jags game?
I think we got to avoid it.
I mean, if I get anybody, it'd be Brian Thomas.
I think we should avoid London.
Okay.
Especially because there might be some rain. The only person that I was looking at, just because the price, as I don't know what his price is now, but the other day when you had asked me about that random Caesars boost, I was looking at some touchdown scores, and I think Ingram and Waddle were both 3-1. And they're not going to be neither of them are going to make it into the touchdown parlay, but just individually, people tune in because they want betting picks or betting ideas or stuff to look at. And like 3-1 for those guys. Ingram was back. He got the workload in last week. So, but those are interesting. But I think for the parlay, we avoid London.
Okay. Miami game. Who do we like there? I like Akane to get a touchdown.
Yeah, I think we should put him in there.
I think so. I think he should be in there. That's an easy one for me. I just think that I think that this is going to get him rolling. Okay. The Bengals Browns game. Is there anybody that you want?
Do you have prices up?
I do.
Because that's so if DraftKings has like a nice price compared to some of these other ones.
I mean, Chase Brown's 120. I don't want any of the guys that we would want. Like Jamar Chase is plus 120.
It would be Chase or Higgins. At least in my opinion.
I'd rather do Chase. I don't really want one in this game, to be totally honest.
Okay.
Like I think that
that's fine.
A divisional game script with a low total is not what I really want on that one. How much does it cost per month for Outlier? Trying to find someone to help me with my props instead of guessing. It is the pro version's $20 a month. There's a free version too, but there's a whole bunch of stuff on the website, my friend. Okay, let me look at what about do you want to win this Titans Bills game? Everybody's fully loaded and back. James Cook's even money. Shakir's back. Let me see how many rushing touchdowns this
part. You know what's weird is part of me thinks, because I do think I don't have any bets on that game, but I do tend to think that the Bills are going to kind of blow them out. And when you have like a blowout like that at home, I think Amari Cooper is in play. First game, he's probably only going to get some of the red zone packages set up anyway. And you actually have a dude who can get him the ball accurately.
I don't see his pricing up. You might have to find it.
Okay, let me see.
I don't see it.
But that would be like, I mean, you could take James Cook. Amari Cooper looks like we wouldn't take it for the DraftKings parlay because you know how we are. We're price sensitive. He's plus 140 on DraftKings, 220 on Caesars, 195.
Yeah, I can't give up $1 on. No.
So, but again, another one that is worth a look in my opinion. I mean, the other thing is it might open up some stuff for Kincaid, but
I thought about it with Kincaid, but they've been pretty. But Titans defense has been pretty good in the middle there.
Yeah, as of now, I would say no
That's a
one in
pass.
that
Yeah.
game sticks
Well, what
out.
about this Falcon? This Falcons Seahawks game's got a total of 50. I think this is a great place for us to look. Drake London's been on a tear.
Yeah, I think. Well, I didn't see the injury report fully. Is Woolen out?
Let me look.
If he's out, I mean, we could add both DK and Drake London in there. Wide receiver ones just get home in that game.
Game status for Woolen. Rick Woolen's out.
He's out. Yeah. So
Trey Brown, and Rick Woolen are out.
what about is that their whole? What about D line?
Leonard Williams got a full practice in. Tyler Lockett
Murphy.
played. That's it. He was the only of the D line guy. Byron Murphy got a full practice in. So Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams are going to be in.
And Mafe, I guess, is in too.
Mafe
He played last
practice.
week. Yeah, so like, I what I think. I mean, like I said, I still like the Seahawks, but I think London's in play. I think what that means is that Bijan's gonna have a tougher time running the ball. I know. Drum just told us Seattle defense sucks, but when they have that D line,
when they have those guys there, they're a lot better. Yeah,
they're a lot better. And without Woolen, I don't know how this game doesn't go over. Also, but yeah. So I think we put both Metcalf and London in there personally.
Let me look. I just want to see who's going to be on him. I'm going to PFF right now.
On London? I guess it'd be Witherspoon, but he's not.
It'll be Witherspoon.
They're probably not.
Yeah. So just so you know, like
he hasn't been good this year.
I mean, he's 18th out of 99 CBs.
Witherspoon?
Yeah.
Well, he's.
I mean, I'll look at the game log on him. Let me look at what.
I saw some stuff about him not being that great in coverage, but being good like everywhere else. I don't know. I didn't dig in.
Let me look. Okay, so
either way, I don't think
overall, he's been targeted 26 times, giving up 19 catches for only 140. He's been fine.
Okay,
he's been good. He's been solid.
I don't think. Well, he's not going to travel with. He's going to stay on one of the sides. I don't think.
Well, if he's just going to stay on that other side, I mean, this dude is going to be on. Let me see this. This guy is going to be on. Mooney. Who's Pritchett? Nehemiah Pritchett looks awful. He's got a defensive grade of 29.5.
Yeah.
That dude stinks. I mean, that's not I don't know if Mooney. I mean, they love Mooney. Do you want to do this?
I don't mind. So this is kind of how I was thinking is for the touchdown step up, I think we can do the wide receiver ones. I think we can easily find somewhere to put Mooney in. Which I do. Mooney's
got a really good matchup.
I actually was going to look at Mooney yards also.
I like Mooney.
You just get that added bonus of Drake London being a good red zone target.
Okay, and on the other side,
well, do you want to do Mooney? Their price isn't really that.
What's Mooney's price versus
plus 185 at DraftKings? That's the best price on market actually. And London is plus 120 on DraftKings.
I'd rather Mooney.
Let's do Mooney then. Mooney and Metcalf then.
Yeah, Mooney and Metcalf. That's fine.
Yeah, because London's been scoring like every game too, so it's like
it's
it's got to end.
Yeah.
Even though this matchup is just like a high scoring affair, should be good.
Okay.
So we got 3.
Okay. Do you like anything in Texans Packers game?
So let me look at some of the tight end stuff. I kind of like Dalton Schultz in this game.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
He hasn't scored this year, and he has 30 targets on the year. Which for on like the list that we usually look at, based off of targets, that would be the tied for 7th most.
He's got a good matchup. He's got a good matchup. He's rated low, but that's not accurate. Honestly, who actually would not be a bad one? Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Jair's playing, right?
Yeah, but he stinks. He's not. He is playing, but he might be. I mean, the thing is like, look, I would do either Diggs or Hutch. Well, I don't think Hutchinson's very good. Hutchinson under is probably something I'm going to take. I don't think Hutchinson's very good. But Stephon Diggs should be getting stuff in the middle of that field. Maybe I want Diggs as a. I might want Diggs. I think I want Diggs.
Yards.
Yeah, but as a side thing, I think I went Diggs yards.
You know what's honestly, I kind of feel like we should at least for the step up.
Yeah.
I feel like we should just go simple with Mixon. I feel like the reason why I like the Texans in the game is because with Mixon back, they can run the ball, and he's been on a tear, just like when he's actually been in the healthy to play. My God, that Purdue just missed a 36-yarder like awfully against Oregon. But yeah, I just think when Mixon in there, it just gives this offense another dimension that they just don't have or didn't have last year, especially. And his price isn't even that bad. I think it's like minus 115. It shows here. Wait, let me see.
I mean, they want to use him when he's in there.
For this step up, we can go a bunch of long shots, but
dude, I like. I mean, I don't know. I think this is versus. I mean, Green Bay's been okay against running backs, holding them over there. Do we know if Aaron Jones is going to play? Because it's going to kind of change the pace of this game. Well, Aaron Jones is on Minnesota. My bad. Josh Jacobs, all those guys. Is anybody injured on the other side other than?
So they had Reed was banged up. Wicks was banged up. I think they still play. I didn't double check that before getting on here, but I know they were questionable for most of the week. I mean, if they don't play, then the Texans, that line will probably go down a bit. That's turns into a cluster injury at that point. But
yeah. All right. Well,
I personally think just Mixon at the minus 120.
I don't hate Mixon there. I think Mixon's fine. Okay, so let me look. I'm looking at these other ones. I mean, I can't imagine that Kyron Williams is like 180. It's like
probably.
Let's see. Yeah, minus 185. We're not taking that. Let's see. And I'm not interested in Raiders guys. Lions and Vikings.
JJ.
Let's see. JMO. I mean, Minnesota's defense has been like the thing is I don't know, man. I don't know who I'd want to pick on this one.
I personally think we should be targeting one of the Vikings receivers. I mean, with no Hutchinson, I don't think they're going to have that much pressure. They already were a bad pressure team, even with Hutchinson being ungodly against.
So you want Jefferson? Well, Jefferson's minus 160.
That's not the best.
No.
I mean, let me see some of these things here because, I mean, Addison's playing, right?
Yeah, he was quiet for the last couple. Well, he was there on bye.
Yeah,
Addison's playing. Addison's plus 150. It's actually a noticeably worse price on DK. We can't take that.
Okay,
it's like 50 cents off market.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to bank on Aaron Jones, right? Like coming back and, because they did trade for Cam Akers midweek, which is like a little concerning if you have Aaron Jones on your fantasy team.
I missed that. I didn't know that they did that.
It was like for like a late pick or something.
Why? That's so random.
Well, because he was on the team last year, I think, and knows the offense a little bit.
Okay.
And Ty Chandler's been abysmal. So they're like, let's get somebody in here. I would – is the JJ price awful on DraftKings?
It's like 35 cents difference. The best price is minus 125 on FanDuel, and then DraftKings it's minus 160.
Okay, so yeah, that's tough. But I think he's worth a look because of just the secondary is going to be in a worse spot without Hutchinson, applying pressure there. So, and that game might just be a shootout anyway. So I guess for the time being, we skip.
Anybody on the Eagles Giants?
I think we can go.
I like Devonta.
Go back to Devonta, yeah.
His number is worse of all the books. Just know that. I think, but like as a side note, I love it. Side note, I love Devonta this weekend.
Well, yeah, I think we'll obviously either use a different boost or just put a combination of players together.
You want what you and I should do as an SGP for this game is Devonta and Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton has torched this Eagles game in his career.
That's true. Yeah, the Slayton versus Slay, even though I think Slay's banged up.
Yep.
But yeah, we can definitely look into that. I mean, I think a combo of like Devonta, JJ, like the guys were on a different book where their prices all align of being decent compared to the market
Yep.
that we were looking at
All
anyway.
right, let's look at this. Panthers, Commanders. I like B-Rob.
He's a little banged up. Is he playing?
Yeah, he's playing. He missed last week, so that he's playing.
I mean, if he's playing,
I want someone on the
it.
ground. I want him. Like, I mean, Jane Daniels, sure, but like, I think B-Rob gets 2.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's definitely playing, right?
Yeah, he practiced in full.
Oh, he practiced
in
full.
He has no injury designation going into tomorrow or going into Sunday.
I mean, then that's probably that probably will work. I mean, I definitely got to see what's up with Deontay. Chuba Hubbard, isn't bad, but I know betting on Panthers players isn't really appealing.
Chuba Hubbard being minus 120 in a game where they are 8-point dogs is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
The total's high though. The total's 50.
Yeah, like I feel like this is a game where like you could just get a bunch of high score, kind of like San Fran Seattle game from the other from last week last Thursday, where like it's high scoring and San Fran won by like 11 or 12, and you get that type of that's how they cover. It's 36-24, something like that. Kind of like we saw with that Falcons Panthers game for a while. But yeah, I mean, I can get behind Brian Robinson in there. It's just kind of weird because they do line like they have Eckler and McNichols lined. Are they giving all three of them carries? If Brian Robinson's fully back, it'll be interesting. But I mean, right now we have 4 names.
Yeah, but I feel like we got to have somebody in this game where it's got a total of 50.
Absolutely. I mean, let's see, hold on. Carolina. How many touchdowns have they given up to
the Panthers? They hemorrhage touchdowns on the ground.
Everywhere, really. Yeah, I mean, let me see. What's best price here for there it is. Okay. Across the board, Terry McLaurin, you can't take that. Damn, DraftKings is the worst price for him. Is Noah Brown playing? I like his price on DraftKings. That's one that'll be like a random sneaky one.
He played last week.
Plus 310 on DraftKings.
Plus 310? Plus 310.
Well, the reason why. Yeah, across the. I mean, for a touchdown. For a touchdown step up.
8 targets. 8 targets and 4 touchdowns last week. Or 4 catches.
I mean, his props are definitely in play, I feel like. It's just hard. It's just hard when you have this touchdown step up and we're going adding legs and just throwing.
Well, I think we're just considering guys right now and doing that. Like, so it sounds like it's like kind of a B-Rob or bust for the step up.
Yeah, I mean, I can the minus 120 price compared to some plus money for Terry isn't great. A lot of these guys are kind of crabs. Like it's almost to that point where it's B-Rob or nothing, like you said, because anyone can score because the total's so high and these defenses are trash that it actually doesn't give you like great options that seem like surefires because it could be anybody. I would not be surprised if fucking Jonathan Mingo scores or like Luke McCaffrey, so yeah, I would say B-Rob's potential. We'll put him in there for right now.
Okay, let me see.
To be our fifth.
We got like 2 other games that we can look at here on it. Well, because I don't want to include the Sunday night.
No, me either.
Okay, Chiefs Niners.
Kittle.
Yeah. Kittle. I would do Kittle.
But you know who else hasn't scored is Ayuk.
I don't know if it's going to happen here. I think Spags is going to game plan him out like it's nobody's business. Though, I mean, I don't know.
Juwan Jennings, I think, isn't going to play.
Juwan Jennings is hurt. Yeah.
Debo had a little wrist bang up, but
he always is hurt.
I think he's going to play. But with no Jennings on there, that's actually big because that means a lot of the receiver work. But he's also probably going to Ayuk's going to get McDuffie, right?
Yep.
Kittle, he's 175 on FanDuel, 150-ish everywhere else. I'm fine with cutting the 25 cents for the step up.
I like Kittle in this one,
especially because if the reason why Ayuk is kind of appealing is if Jordan Mason doesn't
yeah,
play,
they're going to look to throw it in the red zone.
They're going to have to throw the ball a good amount because
it's actually part of the reason why I like Brock Purdy's over 1.5 touchdown passes is because I think that there's going to be a little bit more opportunity there.
Yeah, that's a solid one. So I'm fine with Kittle or Ayuk, to be honest.
Okay.
And the other thing is, and this is also, I mean, I know this is not how we like necessarily pick, but an added bonus and what'll probably be one of the most bet games is there's enough people out there that'll be scared to bet Ayuk to score because he hasn't scored yet, and Kittle is coming off of a 2-touchdown game.
Fair. I'm into Ayuk.
I mean,
let's do it. Why not?
Yeah, I think.
All right, so go through the list and let's pick the 5 that we like here. Okay.
DK, Mooney, Achane, Mixon, B-Rob, and Ayuk.
Okay, love Metcalf, love Achane, love Ayuk. Who else did we have?
Mooney, Mixon, B-Rob.
I would dump Mooney and then do the other 2.
All right, I'll tell you what it is right now. I feel like DK. Mooney does have some nice odds, though.
Well, let's see what we get right now. Okay. I'm hesitant to have them both in.
Like an SGP, you mean?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Chain.
And I really like DK because I just think DK is going to get I'd rather DK off that bad game than anything.
Wait, B-Rob is minus 150?
I guess it moved.
No, it's been there. Okay. No, I mean, the best price for him is minus 135 on MGM. But that's still
that's just thing, yeah.
It's in the same range. It's not really going to impact anything. Okay. Brandon Ayuk. Okay, take out Darnell Mooney. Let's see what this boosts to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how in that game going back and forth, Zay Flowers just tearing it up, doesn't score.
Oh, that was
and it would have been in there. All right, so touchdown stepped up. Yeah, it goes from 39-33 to 51-13.
Okay, let's do that.
We keep jumping up in odds every week.
Dude, I like it. Whatever though. So okay, so that the people have it because I'm gonna post it in here. We got touchdown parlay is B-Rob.
Yep.
DK.
Yep.
Achane.
Yep.
Ayuk.
Yep. And Mixon.
And then what is it? What's the boosted price?
Plus 51-13.
51-13.
So we got over 50-1 for 2 wide receiver ones and 3 running back ones.
I just put it in the chat for people that wanted to see it.
And then with some of these options that we talked about, I definitely am going to find ways to.
Yeah, you and I could probably do like a couple. This
actually might be and I know I know I did one that was like absolutely awful of just like long shots the one week, but I actually think this is a good week to find 5 dudes for a round robin, touchdown round robin.
We can talk about
where you get like a Waddle at a high price, maybe an Ingram with like Noah Brown, maybe like Mooney, like stuff like that, where you get a couple of long shots in there. Spread $20 up that way. But all right, I'm placing this five legger.
All right,
Get
I'm
this
gonna grab it.
touchdown score.
I'm gonna take it from you.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm surprised other books haven't taken that model of like betting with your peers.
I mean, this is yeah. Well, it's you're right.
Also, this is a random question that I was going to ask you earlier. Has nothing to do with like props, but we were talking about Jake Browning.
Yeah.
If you're the Dolphins, why didn't you try to trade for him in the offseason? Would Jake Browning be incredible in this offense?
I mean, the reality is that Callahan should be trading for Jake Browning.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be drafting one.
All right, so I have this the step up, and what a bomb boost here. Cool. It's in, and I got it. DK Mixon, Kane, Robinson, Ayuk. I love it. All right, cool. Okay, this is good. Everybody got to watch us play on our computers. And I just gave us out a ton of plays. Birdman, tell everybody where they can find you.
Twitter, half bird, half man. Been that way for 13 years now. So
there you go.
Hasn't changed. I'm always there.
Final score prediction of Birds Giants.
I think the Birds cover. I know it's a tough one, but I'm gonna go 24-13.
Yeah,
it's a little lower scoring than the total, so maybe I should take the under if I actually really think
you really do like that. I mean, the thing I like the most in that is Giants first sack, but I still think the Birds win.
Are all their D-line playing?
No, but like
their
adjusted sack rates good, and Mailata not being in. I love Fred Johnson's story, but I just can't. The coaching is so much. They're such a better right now. The Giants are actually a better coach team than the Eagles, just in terms of how systems are running. But I still think, the Eagles are infinitely more talented.
I think if Dexter Lawrence plays, he's the guy I want to bet.
Yeah. It's -105. It's even money. It's even money for the top adjusted sack rate team to get a sack on one of the bottom teams that gives up sacks.
The only thing I don't know is if Giants move Burns around or if they just play him on the left side. If they just play him on the left side, and I like your bet. I'm just saying in general for props, Thibodeau's out. If they keep Burns on the one side and don't move him around, then Lane Johnson's going to eat him alive.
Yep.
And then it's just Dexter Lawrence. They got some other guys too. Ojulari, I guess you could probably get a decent price on. It'll be one of those guys in the middle, because I did actually see this week that Hurts is practicing a bit more under center. So if you get one of those situations where they're trying to get that going, miss snap, and he falls on it, that counts as a sack if they touch him. That counts
as a sack.
Or like just a bad drop back and he trips or some shit that doesn't happen. But yeah, I like it. I can't really hate. And I still have to look in a bunch of props. I just have like every side bet.
Yeah, no. But we got out some of our good stuff that we gave to people. All right, everybody. You can find us on Twitter. We will Birdman posts all the really good long shots too. We'll probably have a lot more. I will see you guys all next week. And good luck everybody with your bets.
Let's get this bread.